I have a philosophy about manifestation.
It's like my dad playing golf.
He talks about how great he is.
He calls every single shot.
You start talking about it, and already today, starting to talk about it, it has more momentum than it had yesterday.
Oh, it was Apple kills vibe coding. That was
Apple kills vibe coding.
So obviously I had to click in there.
Right.
Because I vibe code like 8 hours a day now. In my sleep, I'm vibe coding. We had a dog when we first got married
Chad Collins.
that looked exactly like Falcor.
Oh, I thought you were going to say it looked exactly like Brandy.
So if we like...
Because you pointed at Brandy. We had a dog that looked exactly like Brandy. Welcome to Cellar Stories.
If you
After
pushed
Dark.
his hair back, it looked like Falcor. By the way, welcome
Joe.
to Cellar Stories, episode 8.
14 million.
Here we are. What are we going to talk about today?
I've got a couple of things that I want to talk about, actually.
I want to talk about me. Want to talk about I.
I want to talk about talking.
Talking. You want to talk about talking.
Yes. And
We have a meeting to prepare for our meeting. This is great. We're getting right back into corporate nonsense here. Are we going to talk about the synergies as well? We could get some synergistic energy going?
No.
No. All right, good. Let's talk. All right, you want to talk about talking?
I do want to talk about talking. I think it's important to talk.
I mean, that's how we communicate as human beings.
Is it, though?
Generally speaking.
No. Because sometimes you can communicate non-verbally.
Oh, yeah. You're the best at that. Oh, Chad, you don't like that idea? Why would you say that? Because you just went like this. I did? I didn't know my face did that.
Okay, no. Oftentimes, I'll talk about something, or something will come up, or someone will tell me, and they'll talk about manifestation. And I have a philosophy about manifestation, and it involves talking about the thing you want to happen before it happens. And I don't think that's manifestation, although some people maybe would say that's manifestation. I think often people think about manifestation as I thought about the thing that I wanted to have happen, and I was able to manifest it into existence magically.
Without doing anything to get there.
And I believe that if you have that idea about the thing that is going to happen in the future, the first thing you need to do to make it happen is to start talking about it as if it's certainly going to happen.
Well, you definitely do that a lot.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you do that a lot.
So, and I think that's why shit happens. Obviously, everything's not going to happen.
Right. Right. It's like my dad playing golf.
He talks about how great he is.
He calls every single shot.
Yes.
I'm going to hit this one, do a little draw around the tree there. Maybe I'll do a quick little fade. It's going to land right over there. You know, out of a 85, 90 shot round, that might happen 3 times. But it still happens 3 times.
But you still wouldn't call that manifestation. Like calling your shot isn't necessarily, I mean, in some cases, maybe Babe Ruth was able to do that shit.
That's like a very
Microcosm.
micro version of it.
But we started talking about an event that may happen at some point in the fall. And
Now, that was weird because you just went away from the certainty. When we were talking about it earlier, you're like, we're going to have this event in the fall. And now you just said it might happen in the fall. Brandy's brain just exploded over there, I think.
that's fine. Exploding brains are fine. That's because I didn't want to give away exactly what the event is on this show right now today.
Got it.
But thank you for bringing it up.
Bring what up?
The fact that I was wishy-washy about it.
Oh, you got it.
Yeah.
I'll definitely call you out on any mistakes that you make, always.
You need people like that in your life. You just can't be a pussy about it when you get called out and like want to go fucking cry in the bathroom.
Right.
You just need to like accept it
Yeah.
and learn from it.
Yeah. Or you can argue with the person about it.
Or just
That's
punch
fine,
them
too.
in the face.
Yeah, just punch him in the face.
Just kick them in the nuts.
Kick him in the nuts. Punch him in the face.
But anyway, back to the event that's going to happen this fall, Joe.
Maybe.
You start talking about it, and already today, starting to talk about it, it has more momentum than it had yesterday. And tomorrow, you're bored. You look bored.
I'm not bored. I'm listening. It had more momentum than it did yesterday.
And tomorrow,
It's going to have more momentum than it did today.
Yes. Until what happens?
until it actually comes to fruition.
Because all big, awesome things that are manifested start as your idea. The idea turns into something you're going to start talking about. Those ideas turn into actions. But here's the punchline for me. And I'm hoping that it's something that other people can take and learn from so they could have their ideas turn into realities. And the reason why I talk about things as if they're certainly going to happen before they happen, it's because it holds me accountable to those stories.
Yeah, it's no different than someone who is struggling with addiction, or someone who maybe is overweight. It's so much easier to be held accountable when you tell someone else.
Right. And you talk about it.
As opposed to just keeping it within your own head, because then there's someone else that can help keep you accountable, and you feel accountable because you've just told somebody. Now it's not just in your head. Now it's
real.
I got to do something about
You're
this now.
You're breathing life into it.
I got to do something now because I've been talking about it and I've been telling these people.
So for everyone that's manifesting all the stuff in their heads and wondering why it's not happening for them, start talking about it. Start holding yourself accountable and start taking those steps, as small as they might be in the beginning, toward making that shit a reality.
So tonight when I get home, I'm hoping that my wife meets me naked at the door. Oh, well, we're not supposed to be. I thought we were not manifesting things that we wanted to happen later. Off topic.
Little.
Hopefully you don't have to manifest that shit with your wife.
Because the shit that's in my
Because
head.
if you need to
maybe that's the problem. It's in my head and I'm not telling people. I just got to start telling people.
Obviously, I'm joking. This is just funny. You can decide whether you want to keep it in or not.
Keep it in.
Okay.
I don't mean keep it in by keep it in. I mean, keep it in would be like the sexual innuendo.
Oh. Okay.
That can be kept in or not kept in. Anyway, manifestation. So, speaking of manifestation.
Yes.
In live buys.
Yes.
When is the first time you heard me talk about using the offices that we're in today as different brands, different live selling brands?
Probably close to a year ago.
So 2024, 2025.
2025.
2025, really?
Early 20.
Did we not speak about it before then?
That's when I remember it. You may have been talking about it before, but sometimes I have to filter based on what I actually have to accomplish that day or whatever.
Because sometimes you're saying I'm like talking and you're just like, this is just another one of those things.
I listen to everything, but sometimes I have to be like, all right, love the idea. Sounds like it's something that might happen 2 years from now. But right now I have 78 things I need to accomplish today. So I'm going to put that on the back burner.
Got it.
And then we really started talking about it in like high gear.
In June.
Q2, yeah, end of Q2 25.
Q2 25. Q2 25. Yeah. The idea, the manifestation started in 2023 of what would this look like if each of these offices were live selling studios for different brands that we had.
When were you in New York and saw, or maybe you didn't see it live, but there was the shop that had like the live selling
Outlandish?
like little yes, Outlandish.
That's in California.
Okay, so you didn't visit it.
No.
Right. That's when I remember, like whenever you saw that, which I think would have been in that early to mid 2025, that's when, at least for me, it clicked. That's when it was like, okay, now I see what can happen. Before that, it was like, okay, go live, and I'm watching the things that are happening and whatever, but I couldn't visualize it as a large business. In my mind, it was still what 95% of the people do, which is you flip your phone on and maybe you have cool OBS stuff, but it's still like you and maybe your family doing it from your house.
Yeah.
I couldn't see that like multiple brands, multiple studios, and actually being able to support the overhead and all that kind of stuff until I saw that. And then it was like, oh, okay, this is possible. So whenever that was is when it finally clicked for me.
Yeah. Well, it's fun to be here now, especially with a lot more people understanding and seeing the vision and
Yeah.
participating in it. Having come to life what I started talking about. And here we are 3 years later, and we're getting our feet under us, and we're building more brands and building more studios and talking with all the platforms and getting our goals aligned and making new relationships and hiring more hosts and figuring out the right things that work on each of these channels for each of these brands. And having the patience, because what I believe, what so many people get caught up in is that lack of patience, is the instant gratification. And I think in large part it's due to devices and the way culture is today, with a lot of that instant gratification happening all the time. And when you try to remove yourself from that and then focus on something else, it becomes very hard for a lot of people, especially younger people that have grown up with it and it is more part of their culture than it may be part of our culture, where we didn't have that when we were in grade school and high school and college. So we know how to lock in, where so many people today that might want to do something better for themselves, that have these visions, that have these ideas, that see other people doing things and think it could, they just think it's going to happen like really quickly.
Yeah. There's two things. One is the attention span. And I see it within myself. Like, I will catch myself, or I wouldn't say catch myself because I don't know there's necessarily anything wrong with it, but I will notice and recognize within myself, if I am home, let's say, and I'm sitting on my couch, it's not enough for me to have the TV on. It's not enough for me to have my phone on. I need to have both on.
TV's going, phone in hand.
Like, there's very few things that would hold my attention for more than a few minutes.
What about a board game?
Sure. I mean, it depends on the company, right? Board game by yourself, something like that. No. But if you're with other people and you're interacting, sure. Like that, because that's taking up all of your attention. You kind of have to pay attention to somebody else or you're being rude. But just sitting there, and then I notice it obviously with my kids, right, who are 18 and 20, soon to be 21, and I just see it's like a 5-second gap in talking to them, and they're back on their phone, or they're looking for something else, or whatever. It's like, dude, just wait a minute. Like, just give me 60 seconds. Just relax. They can't do it, or at least it's not natural to them to do that. They got to be jumping around to the next thing. The other thing I wanted to mention is, and we've talked about this before, I'm like a Zig Ziglar guy, have been for a long time, and it's not just the instant gratification, although that's a huge part of it, but it's also, I guess it is. It really is the gratification. It is the instant gratification. But the Zig Ziglar thing that I want to bring up is the babies walk. Right. I think I mentioned that to you.
All
before.
babies walk. All babies learn to walk.
Like, with the exception of whatever kind of situations that are different outside of like the typical whatever, all babies walk. And why do they walk? Because they don't stop trying to walk. And Zig Ziglar always draws that comparison to whatever you're trying to do in life. Like, you're not a failure until or you haven't failed at that thing until you stop trying. Right? You could get beaten down 9,000 times, but as long as you keep going, you'll eventually figure something out that'll help you get to whatever that goal is. And that, I always like that kind of baby walking thing. It kind of struck me. It's like, yeah, the baby's going to end up walking. Come high or hell water, the baby's going to fucking walk.
Right. And they don't walk on day 2.
Right. They figure it out eventually.
Yeah. And some walk sooner than others.
And that's the other thing, in their own time. Takes some people longer to get to whatever that thing is that they're trying to accomplish.
So talking about it, holding yourself accountable, and then the more you talk to others about it, not only are you holding yourself accountable, but they then hold you accountable. And you start to build the momentum. And the other thing is, and especially with entrepreneurship, the pressure is not for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Because in talking about it, in making sure the accountability layer is there, you're automatically putting a lot of pressure on yourself. So how much pressure can you handle? And maybe when you don't know that, when you don't know how much pressure you can handle, and then you're afraid of putting too much pressure on, and then you break and you crack, and then it's like, oh, the whole thing went up in flames, and you don't want to look embarrassed around other people, then you learn what your breaking point is. The adversity is part of getting to the place where you want to go. You need the adversity because you need to know what your breaking point is. If you never get to that break or that bottom, then you're not pushing yourself hard enough. Like, you need to keep going until you really feel that and are able to push through it. Because then the new challenges that you face over time, you always relate back to what that low point was. And the other thing I tell people about like that low point, about slamming into the ground, is, you know those bouncy balls, like those super balls? We used to call them super balls in school, right? They have that extra bounce. You bounce it, and the harder you slam it, the more it rebounds, right? The harder you hit that bottom, the more you deal with that adversity and the more painful that is, the rebound is just going to be that much greater. And I've seen that.
As long as you keep going.
And I've seen that over and over again. Well, you have to keep going. Yeah, it's just you're taking that Super Ball and you're slamming it into the ground, and then poof, you watch it take off. And it will take you to heights that you haven't achieved before.
You know, the other thing that's interesting about telling other people about your ideas and your thoughts on, and, you know, whatever that thing is that your vision, whatever, you then start attracting
like-minded people.
And the reason for that
want to help you. And they want to go through that wall with you.
It's no different than, you know, if I say to you, have you seen the new Mustang Dark Horse? No, never heard of it. Okay, well, this is what it looks like. This is the color, whatever. I show you some pictures, and now you look it up, and you're like, wow, this is really fucking cool, whatever.
Are we talking about a car?
Yes.
Okay.
You've never seen one before in your life.
Yep.
What's going to happen as you start driving around?
You're going to start seeing them.
You're going to start seeing them.
I'm going to send you pictures.
And it's not because they weren't there before. It's because you weren't looking for it.
And your eyes are open.
Yes.
How many red cars are on the road?
And the more you talk to other people about your thoughts and your ideas, the more that opens up to other people that opportunity for that stuff to now start coming to you. Because
those people, if they like your idea, are going to share it with people in their network.
Now they start talking about it. Now the next thing you know, oh, well, did you know my cousin or this person I used to work with is now doing this thing?
Do you know someone at this company? Because I used to work with them and now they're over here. Would that be helpful to you?
So that's the other benefit to bringing others into your goals and ideas.
Happens all the time.
Yeah.
Happened today.
It has happened like once a day for the last 2 weeks for us, like literally.
So talk about your shit. I think that's the punchline.
Well, not your shit.
I mean,
that's disgusting.
I mean, we did have tandem shits today, Joe.
This is where if we had this would I would hit the TMI button right now.
This was it was
too
your
much
idea.
Information.
You really wanted to talk, and I really wanted to poop.
Yeah.
And then I was trying to go poop.
And then we both went into the WWE Elimination Chamber.
And then you said, "You know what? I also have to poop.
Callback?
How about we
episode 7?
How about we just talk and poop?"
That's what I said.
I know.
And you said, "No, I don't want to talk while I'm pooping." And then we sat down and we talked while we were pooping.
So that's not normal for guys.
I don't have a problem with it. My son can't stand it.
Talking and pooping?
Oh my God. If he's in the bathroom.
I would prefer not to. I don't like anyone else in the bathroom while I'm doing anything.
Yeah, see, I don't mind any of that.
Like
I
I
don't
am
care. I
a
have females in the bathroom.
I'm a
with me. I don't give
solo bathroomineer.
crap. Solobathroomineer.com.
Yes. I'm a
Solo-
bathroomineur.
Menorah?
Actually, that actually goes better.
Menorah?
Minor.
Bathroom manure?
A bathroomineur, like an entrepreneur.
I don't know if that
Bathroomineur.
works.
The EUR.
Semantics might not be right there.
EUR.
I got you.
Yeah.
May not quite be there, but all right.
Well, and manure is also shit. So kind of.
Right. Works. It all works.
Is that how you say that word?
Manure?
Manure.
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 Manure. You need a microphone, Brandy. All right. What's on your mind, Joe?
Well, so I mentioned to you earlier, AI stuff.
Yes, I love AI stuff.
So, yeah, so I saw a couple of headlines that were kind of clickbaity today, and they got me to click in.
Mm-hmm.
But I still found it interesting.
Is that like Warren Beatty?
What? Clickbaity? Warren Beatty?
They related?
No.
Okay, different things.
Yeah. So, the headline was Apple kills AI in its apps or something like that.
Apple,
And I was like, oh,
by
that's
the
interesting.
way, is going to be and is becoming a huge benefactor of AI with their hardware. Like they sat on the sidelines and didn't release their own model, and everyone's like, what is Apple doing? And they came out with Apple Intelligence, which was their AI.
Horseshit.
And they just kind of hung out, and then boom, OpenClaw. And
Right.
everyone ran out, and everyone needs
They're still so far behind.
Mac Minis.
It just so happens that their hardware is good
Well, that's what I'm saying.
to work with this particular thing.
That's what I'm saying. They are becoming the go-to hardware to run your OpenClaw and to run your own local models. And obviously, there's going to be other hardware that's out there. But if you want it within the iOS and you want to be able to airdrop files to your Mac Mini or Studio or whatever you got going on,
But Apple's still so far behind everybody else when it comes to
the AI space.
Yeah. What are
Right,
they even
but
doing?
I'm saying they're the hardware. They're like the consumer hardware
It's such a small percentage of it, though.
supplier. But anyway, go ahead. To your point.
So, all right. So it was Apple, kills AI in their app store or something like that. So I went in and looked at it. And essentially what it is they are not allowing vibe. This is how they're, it was Apple kills vibe coding. That was,
Apple kills vibe coding.
so obviously I had to click in there
Right.
because I vibe code 8 hours a day now. In my sleep, I'm vibe coding. So I was like, well, what are they talking about? So I go in, and basically what they're saying is because of AI now, you can code and create. You can use vibe code without even knowing how to code. Create an app, and have AI built into the app such that it can iterate
And make itself
and
better.
morph based on the needs of the customers.
Mm,
And Apple was like, nah,
they're not having that.
not going to allow that.
Because then you can have runaway apps
Right.
that already passed their protocol, but now they changed into something else.
Do whatever they want.
And now how do you monitor that after it's been installed on a device?
Yeah, and at the end of the day, an app can literally become your entire one-stop shop
For everything.
for everything, and basically like your OS, because you can have it do whatever you want. You don't need to have another app for your email, and another app to track your food intake, and another app to track your whatever. You do it all in the AI thing. So I found that interesting. I mean, it makes perfect sense. Not just from a business standpoint where they could lose revenue, but from a security standpoint, which is one of the biggest things that everyone is concerned about with AI, and rightfully so. Because you have to give it, almost unlimited access to be able to do almost anything. And I can tell you, so my bot, I have told my bot, I don't know, 50 times.
And when you say your bot, your claw bot.
My Yeah,
claw
my
bot.
open claw robot
Yep.
that I've got set up, which we've been working with our open claw stuff for a month or so now, 5 weeks, something like that.
Yep.
And in those 5 weeks, I have told my bot probably 50 times, when I explain something for you to do, and this is particularly when it comes to coding and stuff, or making changes to database stuff, I don't have to say this. You should know every single time. Repeat back to me in your own words how you understand what we're trying to accomplish, and then tell me if you think that's the right way to accomplish it, if there's a better way, and if there are any potential pitfalls. And I have said this so many times, and every time I say it, put it into your memory wherever you need to put it so that this doesn't happen.
So it's persistent.
And then the next day it happens again. And then I have to say, why didn't you do this? Oh, you're right, it was in there, blah, blah, blah. Today, for the first time, it actually said, oh, I should write it to this MD file instead of this MD file. That way, there's no way I can do anything without doing this, because I read this MD file in every session.
Yep.
Whereas the other MD file, I don't know how that works. Like, when it wants to read it, it reads it. Like, why is it there?
But what does this have to do with Apple's runaway apps?
Well, we were talking about the security.
Got it.
So the point is, like, a lot of people think, well, listen, as long as I tell it, it's a computer. So if I say, don't ever do this, it'll go into its memory. And because it's a computer, it's only ones and zeros. So it's like a definite, like, barrier. It's never going to go past that. Well, I've learned the hard way that that's not really a thing. And maybe you know how to tell it and where to put it and whatever else.
But sometimes it's going to do it at once.
Sometimes, but I know, and we like to use personification and say things like what it wants, right? It doesn't want. It just doesn't know.
It does.
Yeah, it just doesn't know that it shouldn't do that thing. It's not like it's like, oh my God, like it's not a human being. It's like,
you know what I really want to do?
oh my God, I want to crack into that, vault, whatever. Like, it's not. It doesn't.
I really want to make Joe's life hell today.
Yeah,
so I'm not going to remember anything.
Right. It doesn't have wants and needs. And I think we do have a tendency to personify it because that's, AI, and it talks to us kind of like a person would and whatever. Yeah. But at the end of the day, it's ones and zeros, right? So anyway, that's a security piece.
So I
That's
wonder
a security piece.
where that goes.
Which part?
The apps, because there is going to be a need or a want for apps that do morph with you over time.
What do you mean by morph?
Well, that will learn what you want and ask you questions about what you would like it to do or what you would like to see when you use it.
But it does. It does that now.
No, I'm saying it as an app. You're saying
Oh,
Apple is saying they're going to not let apps like that exist. And
Yeah.
I'm saying, well, it sounds like it'd be really cool if an app like that existed. So what is the workaround to that?
Well, Apple's notorious for keeping a closed system anyway.
Correct.
Right? Like, if you ever wanted to do anything in your iPhone, you got to jailbreak it to be able to do like just about anything outside of changing the screen color or whatever. So that's not surprising. And I think they're just taking this step as a preemptive, like, we don't even know what's possible yet.
So everyone should.
So let's just,
I think there's a lot of that.
let's
right
just
now.
stop it right now and then research it and see what actually is possible. Can we get our arms around this? Can we create a sandbox in which these apps can play without effing everything up or screwing things up or doing nefarious things or whatever?
You know what we've been talking about, which is like the limits that we face sometimes when we're creating our own apps for the business.
When you say limits, you mean like what the thing can do, or you mean
No.
like with token usage and
Token
stuff?
usage.
Yeah.
So token usage is really interesting to me.
It's so weird.
It's almost like when you had a phone. Now,
Right.
the youngins won't remember this,
Yeah.
but when you had a phone for the first time, you paid for minutes.
Yeah. Maybe you got like 100 minutes a month as,
Yeah, like
part
100
of your, as part of your $100 plan.
Not only did you pay for minutes, but it wasn't that long ago. And I'm talking like 04, 05, 06 when you paid for text messages.
Right. 5 cents a text message, 2.5 cents a text message, 5 cents an MMS if you was set a picture.
Right.
Right.
So where we are today with token usage
Yeah.
is back to limits for
Yeah.
sending messages that we used to have from our phones.
Until the infrastructure gets built out
Until
and then it catches up. And,
So we're in this pay-to-play land right now,
yeah.
which ultimately is going to go to unlimited tiers once all the data centers get built and the processing power is there. And that's why the chip manufacturers and the electricians are all going to be booming here for decades to come. Like, this isn't going away. It's why we're making data centers in outer space. It's why the astronauts are going back to the moon, right? For power plants on the moon. I mean, this is why, guys. The other analogy would be like dial-up. Like, we are in the dial-up era of AI usage and tokenization. And
So you like to say AI is the dumbest it's ever going to be.
slowest and dumbest.
Mhm.
Yeah, AI is the slowest and dumbest it's ever going to be. Today and tomorrow and the next day and forever.
And the rate at which it learns and gets better
Oh my God.
is like I heard some, data scientist type guys talking about it. And it's we can't comprehend it as human beings. It's like trying to understand the multiverse. It's like it's beyond our comprehension to understand how quickly the computers are able to learn and reiterate and become like thousands of times better in like a day.
Yeah, even more so.
It's like it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Well, it's the Pareto principle that's been blown out of the water, right? It just gets exponentially better every day, and it's power and speed, and it's exciting. It's an exciting time to be playing with this stuff. And I just hope more young people embrace it, because as a parent with someone in college right now and trying to talk to her about it and getting a sense of where her friends stand on it, knowing that they're getting accounting degrees, etc., and knowing that a lot of what they're learning and being told is not going to be relevant by the time they enter the market is alarming to me. And interestingly, I have an opportunity to speak at the College of Charleston in 2 weeks, and I'm going to have a very direct conversation with these kids about that. Now, luckily, I'm speaking to a group of convention and event and hospitality majors where they're focused on the human to human contact. And I'll be talking about how they're going to be able to leverage the technology to help them create, plan, and build the best experiences for people, and how they can make their jobs more efficient with technology. And I think luckily for them and for that major, there'll be fewer and fewer jobs at risk. But a lot of the other majors in colleges all over the country, they're going to have graduates this year, and everything that they've learned and studied for to get that degree, those jobs are going to be far and few between.
Yeah, it's like what they're learning is obsolete before they even finish learning it.
Yeah, and that's, I think, the alarming part. And not saying that there aren't colleges and institutions that are finally embracing it and educating these kids about it and getting them on the right path. But whatever they're doing now, it's not enough at scale. Like whatever we're doing now in these schools and colleges and universities, et cetera, is not enough. It needs to be more. And I really think I'll start with like the high school kids, like the 15-year-olds to 21-year-olds really need to be educated, and the people that are educating them need to be educated and embracing this technology so they can speak in a way and teach in a way that resonates with these kids today.
Yeah, and is actually relevant to today's world.
Because sooner rather than later, like the kids are going to be teaching the teachers about what they're doing.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's like AI should be seen as a tool to help learn.
Like a calculator.
It's exactly where my mind was. When calculators were first a thing, like when we were in school, you weren't allowed to use your calculator. Right. And then finally, it was like, okay, why not? Everyone's got a calculator on their phone, so why do you need to know how to do whatever? Like, use your calculator, because now, instead of learning 3 times 4, you could learn by using your calculator how to calculate the
higher level
yes, the
formulas.
Yeah, the cubic volume of that thing that you need to fill. Instead of, let's memorize our times tables. No, use the tools so that you can do way more than what you could have if you just were memorizing times tables. And I don't know, for whatever reason, education in general seems to be resistant to that stuff.
They're slow to adapt.
Yeah.
Unless you're in a private school.
Yeah. I did see.
So then there's that, there's that gap again.
Well, you know what? I think the quickest way that colleges come to market with more relevant technology type stuff is by the certificate programs, right? All the other stuff, like that curriculum, is like, it's the 40 million pounds cruise ship that's got to be, it's going to take 5 years to redo things. But those certificate programs, it seems like they can spawn those up all the time. So like I'm getting ads now, and I don't remember if it's Temple or St. Joe's. It's one of our local universities here in Philly, and they are offering an AI certificate program. And I would love to take it just to see what they're teaching.
Yeah.
I would never pay for it because I'm sure I already know more than what they're going to teach just by virtue of the fact that I've screwed around with it for 6 weeks. But I would love to just find out what the curriculum is, because they always seem to be a little bit behind.
Yeah. I mean, look, you're going to be behind. In the middle of learning the curriculum, there's going to be new models that come out.
Right.
So what needs to be taught is to always spend time learning what the new models are. Like the frameworks need to be, okay, you're going to learn which models do best for the work that you're trying to do today.
Mm-hmm.
And then when the new models come out, you need to test them against that work that you're doing and see which new models are better. Because every month and faster, new models are going to be released that can do the tasks that you were already doing faster and better.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't rest. There is no rest. And it's going to be interesting. It's going to be fun. Anyway, I'm looking forward to my talk.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to having a conversation with the professors and getting their take on it. And I'm most interested in getting feedback from the students and really getting what their take is on it, finding out who's been playing with it, because everyone uses ChatGPT. And by the way, everyone just calls it chat. I just go into chat.
Who's everyone?
Kids, college kids. Everything's chat. That's ChatGPT.
That's dumb. It's dumb because chat could be anything.
Well, chat
like it.
Chat is ChatGPT. So they're all using chat, but are they using agents? Are they learning what those other tools are, or are they just downloading the newest like app from the app store
No, but
that
you know
does the
why?
AI thing for them?
So I have a theory about this. And it's amazing that you just got there because I was going to interrupt you and whatever. We got to the same place. I have a theory about why the younger generation, like our kids' age and younger, are not adopting AI as quickly as, say, we are. And I think it just has to do with life experience and how to actually apply that power that you have there. Like you and I, because of life experience, can read about the capabilities of this bot and then have dozens, hundreds, thousands of ideas because of all the things that we've done and all the trials and tribulations and all of the difficulty that we've gone through trying to build this business or do this thing or complete this task. And we can then relate that stuff to this machine that can now figure that stuff out for me or do that thing for me so that I don't have to hire 4 people to stumble through this stuff and spend half of my time explaining what I want. You know, those things that we've dealt with before. The kids, the younger generations don't have that life experience, so they don't know what to do with it. We could tell them it's the greatest thing ever. You could put the thing on their desk, connect it up for them, have them get access to it, and, you know,
You're like, okay, cool.
they're going to use it the same way they use chat. Hey, you know, what's 12 times 5? Or, you know, my car has a flat tire. How do I, whatever. Like, that's what they're using it for because that's what they know. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. And the younger professors also aren't going to know the power.
Like, you could see it in their eyes. So for instance, when you first brought this to Paul and I, your excitement was off the charts. And then once we started understanding our excitement, like immediately off the charts. I talked to my sons about it and they're like, okay, like what? So cool. What are you going to do with it? Like, what are they going to do with it? They don't know because they're not at that point yet where they actually need it to do something for them. Like they're fine the way they are. They don't need that extra thing. So they're not trying to figure out what that is.
Well, the variable is creativity.
But there still has to be the end goal.
Yeah, you need to know what you want.
What's the end goal?
You need to know what you want. But the variable in all of this, when everyone has access to these tools.
Okay, so basically now you're getting into like how does one person differentiate themselves from someone else when we all have access to the same crazy technology?
Creativity.
Yeah. But that's no different than saying the internet or computers.
Well,
it's just the next iteration of all that.
It was hard. Yeah, but it was harder to bring something into real life. You actually needed skills to code to bring something into real life. Now you don't. So, okay, I need to learn how to communicate with the bot.
Mm-hmm.
And once I know how to communicate with the bot, which is in your first language, whatever that is, then creativity is the limitation. Look, I have a little bug. What is this guy? All right, I think that's a sign.
What's it a sign of?
I think we have to go.
Because there's a little tiny bug on the table?
Yeah.
You have a thing with bugs.
I don't like them. I mean, I'm okay with them. I don't want to kill them. Like, I like to save bugs.
You don't want to personally kill them?
No.
Chad used to have this thing, Brandy.
Oh, here we go.
With bugs.
What was this thing?
It would be like 6 months would go by, and then it would be like a fly.
No, it was ants.
This is a different one. We had an ant issue, but that was different.
I don't know what this bug.
Specific reason for.
I don't even know what this bug is.
But there could be one bug that flew in from outside because someone walked in and held the door for somebody else, and a bug comes in.
I wouldn't like that.
And then Chad would come back into our office and go, "We got to get the exterminator out here. We got bugs everywhere."
In our next episode, we're going to tell the story about an infestation that once took place in this office.
Wait, speaking of cliffhangers,
Yeah.
we left the last one at a cliffhanger,
What was it?
and we never picked it up.
I don't even remember. What was
I don't
it?
remember what the cliffhanger was either.
Randy?
AI host or something.
All right. Thanks for hanging out. In the next episode of Seller Stories, we'll address those things.
Cliffhanger, cliffhanger, cliffhanger.